All right, folks, welcome to another edition of NFT Live. We're taking you around the non-fungible token industry, and we're having ourselves a good time, and we're going to attempt to have this episode without getting canceled before we press end. We're going to have ourselves a good time. Ronan is going to have a fun time with that convo as well. Nice to see everybody in the house here on this beautiful Tuesday. We have a great guest that we're going to get to here in a second, but I'm going to get to my main man, Ronan the Collector. How's it going, my brother?
It's going good, dude. It's been an interesting week in NFTs. As Q mentioned, there's been some situations. There's been a little conversation about cancel culture and how that plays into Web3 and the place that we have here as as a community centric technology. I don't even know how to put that the way I want to say it, but yeah. So there's definitely been some situations. Everybody heard about ENS and lots of drama in the NFT space. And a year ago, that's definitely something that I thought would be much further away than it is now. But here we are, and it is what it is. And I think like now we're starting to remember that things aren't all sunshine and roses in the land of NFTs. And, some of us, I mean, we got to do our research and we got to watch our back and we got to make sure that the community is well aware of what's going on. And yeah, interesting stuff going on in the space.
Listen, like as we get bigger in this industry, there are other things that are going to come up, and we have to grow and evolve as the space grows and evolves. So we're going to have ourselves a good time. You're going to grow into this episode because there is a giveaway that we've got for Ninjaz. This is one of the first, I think, maybe second. I think we had Veggie Mates on, and they're in the Cardano ecosystem. That was a really dope guest. So we have another Cardano NFT project here that we're going to touch on at Ninjaz, and we are going to have ourselves a great time here on this episode. We have Daria, head of marketing, and we will touch on that project here in a moment. So we do have a giveaway. Look out on our Twitter. If you want to just like and retweet the tweet we have out now, that would be great too, even though there's no incentive. But yeah, welcome into the Ninjas in the house. I don't know if you guys have a saying or whatnot. We'll get to that here in a moment. But this is NFT Live. We're taking you around the NFT industry, around the Metaverse, and we're going to have ourselves a good time doing so. I guess, I did want to start with one piece of tweet that I saw this morning. I think it was from your retweet, Ronan. This came directly from the co-founder of Twitch. Justin Can says, yeah, I built Twitch. It has millions of users, and gaming NFTs are way bigger. And thoughts on my man Justin Can coming out here and laying it down.
I think he's spot on. I think like one of the things that is most perplexing for me as somebody who's been in the space and who kind of like understands it is like all the pushback we get from like traditional gamers on NFTs. And I think a lot of that has to do with news and the way that news has been disseminated and a little bit of that fear tactic because we are tied to the blockchain and obviously cryptocurrencies have their own hurdles that they've got to get over. And so I think that the surprising thing here is to have someone who is so revered in the space come out and say this so blatantly and so pointedly, right? Like you had, I guess to counter this, right? You also had itch.io came out and said that they were like never, ever, ever going to mess with NFTs and they would never implement them. And anyone who did was like evil, essentially. And so, I just think that this is exactly what we need. We need somebody who's in the space, who understands the space, who, it has built a platform and built this entire engagement system around gaming, who understands it and who can talk to, why NFTs are so important and how NFTs can be implemented into gaming, because it's a no-brainer to me. And I definitely think we're going to see this blow up over the next 12 to 24 months.
Yeah, it's still perplexing to see like the gaming studios and a lot of these gaming companies take such a weird stance, and gamers in general. I mean, we are relatively hard when it comes to change. No, gamers always kind of want to stay the same. If gamers had their way, we'd still be like probably playing on N64 because we're like just not okay with meta changes and all these things. But by all means, that is going to change, and it just depends on how fast these people come along with it. So yeah, just wanted to get that tweet out there. I did want to get one more thing to you guys. We have an amazing show that just started on our network here on on Mondays, but it started about 3 or 4 weeks ago. It's called Music Mondays. Louis C. Rhymes, the NFT Trapper, here in the house. But Louis is a good friend and lad in our community, and he's a great hip hop artist in the NFT scene. And he just started that Music Mondays, like I said, I would say 3 or 4 weeks ago. And they had an amazing guest yesterday. I want to get you guys this clip because it was so amazing to see live performance artists and have them, live performance artists that have NFTs that are selling now on the channel and just performing great music artists. So I'm gonna play a little clip of Jacob Lee for you guys and show you what you missed. But this guy freaking brought down the house, man. Shout out to Louis C. Rhymes, Jared, Natalie that are hosting Music Mondays on the network. You can go right now and check it out. But here's a clip.
To find out that her heart beats fine without me. I'm gonna lay down until I fade out. I'll go to sleep now, don't lie to yourself, no. I'm gonna wake up, stay up, and I wonder why I'm lying on your pillow. My body feels cold in the night when you're so warm. When you couldn't sleep on the 25th, I remember when you said the night has never felt so dark. I'm gonna lay down until I fade out. I'll go to sleep now, I'll go to sleep now. I'm gonna wake up, stay up, and I wonder why I'm lying on your pillow, yeah. I'm gonna lay down until I fade out. I'll go to sleep now, don't lie to yourself, no. I'm gonna wake up, stay up, and I wonder why I'm lying on your pillow. My body feels cold in the night when you're so warm. When you couldn't sleep on the 25th, I remember when you said the night has never felt so dark.
All right, and I'm so sorry that you have to come back to our faces and our voices here after listening to Jacob, but you do. We have a whole rest of the episode to get to. But Music Mondays, that episode, he did a couple more performances on that episode. It lives on our YouTube channel, of course, right here on the channel. So definitely give that a listen, and they're going to be bringing more live performances to that show. What do you think about that, Ronan?
Dude, that was awesome. I love me some live music. It's something that I feel like I'm so, like severely lacking thanks to COVID. And anytime we have somebody who can go live and really bring some music to the people and do it in such a like a soulful and beautiful way, like makes me super happy, man. It reminds me of when we had like Jose in Discord. Gosh,
Yes.
forever ago. It was probably a year ago at this point. Just singing and everybody hanging out and enjoying some amazing music. And dude, shout out to Music Mondays and to the guests, because that was amazing performance and awesome content. So if you guys do enjoy that content, make sure that you're hitting the like button for us, because that like button goes a long way, helps get the content that we produce every week in front of everybody who's interested in this type of thing when it comes to YouTube, right? It helps us build in the algorithm. Subscribing is also a huge thing. And then making sure you hit the share button and then dropping that link somewhere like Discord or Twitter or, what else do people use? Telegram,
What the
right?
kids use these days.
What do kids use these days? But if you guys can share that with some friends and get them in here for our next guest, the Ada Ninjas, I think that they would enjoy what we have to talk about. This is a cool project. They just had their second season 2 drop happen. They sold out. Congratulations to them. And they've got some cool stuff going on. So it's going to be a good conversation. Make sure you guys share that with your peoples.
Yeah, 100%. And we're going to play a trailer really quick that brings in kind of the story and what they're looking to do. Again, I'm looking at their white paper here. Their mission is to bring together a global community of artists, manga comic lovers to connect, engage, share ideas, and build long lasting relationships. I love the manga movement that's happening in the NFT space. So it's cool to hear from a team that's building, especially on Cardano, man. Cardano does have NFTs, and we're going to speak to one here in a second. But I am going to play this trailer, and we will roll in to our conversation with the team. See you guys on the other side. Daria, head of marketing from Ninjaz. I'm excited to be here talking with you today. Did we lose her? Is she still here?
I wasn't gonna say it, but it definitely
Oh,
looks like we lost her.
Daria, are you here? Oh,
Hi
hello.
guys.
Can you? Are we on with you right now? Can you hear us?
I have a really bad connection.
Oh
Oh no.
man. Let's try to get you to exit and then come back, and let's see if we can get you on the right wavelength with us.
She'll get that message in a moment.
Why VMix? Why do you do this to us, VMix?
I think honestly, it's probably like I was thinking about that because it's typically like our worldwide guests that have these issues, and I think that it's got to be something to do with like the delay. And I think with her connection specifically, it seemed like the longer we were on with her, the longer the delay got. So her hanging out for about 15-20 minutes,
That's
as
fair.
we kind of booted the show up, may have caused little issues, but we'll kind of give her a second to kind of reconnect. But anybody who is interested, you definitely want to check out Ada Ninjaz, ADA Ninjaz with a Z.com. If you want to follow along with the conversation that we're going to be having, they've got a really great website. It gives you a good rundown of their roadmap, which they're barely into their Q1 of 2022, and they've got lots of coming for the rest of this year. That's super interesting stuff. They also have their team information. The team is fully doxed, and you can also find their white paper, which is a really, really interesting read. As you can see there, Q's kind of highlighting season 2 has sold out. They have that manga that is coming out. They've got the NFTs. They also have the Clan Wars, which is something that I'm interested in kind of jumping in and hearing a little bit more about, if we're able to get our guests back
So
on with us.
yeah, so Daria, I see you on the back end here, and I'm gonna bring you up again. If we do have any issues, and I just lost her on video, but if we do have any issues, bring in maybe another team member as well that has another connection with that same link. We're pros, guys. We're gonna do this on the fly completely and see if we can't get it. But Daria, I'm gonna unmute you now. Let's see if you are on our wavelength here. Are you there?
And
I am here, but my connection is very bad. I don't know why, but yeah. Hello, everybody, and super happy to be here and to speak in the name of Aiden in just a little bit. Very sorry for technical problems. I'm the technical problems lady. There's always something wrong. But yeah, let's hope we can go through it. We have just finished our second mint, as some of you know, and it was very smooth without lots of drama and without technical problems. So we're super grateful for that. And yeah, let's hope we can get through this episode without no more drama as well. And thanks so much for having us.
absolutely, absolutely. So you kind of touched a little bit on the fact that you guys did just wrap up your second season. I would really love to know just a little bit about what exactly Ada Ninjas is. Obviously, we're seeing some more anime projects pop up that are very, heavy in the art and the culture. So I'd love to hear a little bit about what separates Ada Ninjas from kind of the other projects that are out there that look somewhat similar.
Yeah, so what you're seeing now is our second season teaser. It's nice, you can see a little bit of the first season Armor and the second season Atsuka art styles, which are completely different. But back to your question, so what we what basically do, we are a manga and anime project based in Cardano, and what makes it different is that it's completely community based. So we have really from the start listened very closely to our community members, and our story is developing according to the decisions that the community is taking. So our utilities are a little bit unique in that sense because as a holder you get voting rights to our story, and you get to participate in almost every part of the process in that sense. We have also released a white paper lately, so if you want to dive really deep into the utilities, that's a good place to go. But yeah, in general, our vision long term is to become an entertainment company worldwide known and to be able to deliver amazing experience for manga fans and valuable NFTs at the same time.
That's excellent. And I love the fact that you guys have already started kind of producing some of that media that you're talking about that is so imperative to the Ada Ninjas experience. With your season one drop, your season two drop, there was another mention there kind of what comes in the future for Ada Ninjas and how these all kind of play together into utility and user your community usage of the NFTs. I'd love to hear a little bit about the plans there for these different, because I think you guys mentioned a little bit of a burn coming up. So I'd love to hear a little bit about
Yeah.
those mechanics and what you have in store.
Yeah, what would be ninjas and clan wars if nobody would die? So obviously we're gonna do some great ninjas burn soon, so that some ninjas can die and disappear. It's gonna be basically for holders. We're gonna have some prescribed mix of ninjas, and if you burn them, you get a smoke NFT. So it's all going to be very exciting. We're still working on the details, but yeah, the Great Ninjas Burn is a way also to make the NFTs in that sense even more scarcer and also to turn it into an even better utility. So you basically switch a few of your old ninjas into a new smoke ninja. This idea, and also some other things that are coming up very soon is a game. So we have developed also a very fun 8-bit game where ninjas holders can fight against each other. It's going to be on our Discord. So yeah, it's highly addictive, though. That's something I can say. And on the other hand, we're also going to have a DAO. So a DAO is something that our community has also asked for, and we've been talking about it for a long time, and we're actually about also to launch one.
So, Daria, I had a question specifically about building on Cardano because I think we've interviewed maybe one other project, and I know there are people out there. Their first question is like, where do I even go to get started to get involved in Cardano? Because again, like as an NFT collector, if I'm hearing about a new project, well, I'm going directly to OpenSea, and I know all of my routes to find out about the price and how to analyze this stuff. So, how does someone get started in Cardano to kind of like get a feel of Ada Ninjas and the ecosystem?
Yeah. So I think Cardano is a good place to start in general. I think it's a great blockchain and you're all very welcome to have a look at it. And in order to start, so our Discord is a great way to start because it's full of people asking for advice, giving advice, offering help. We're discussing other projects, we're discussing the floor price, we're discussing everything that's happening in the space. So for me, it was a great starting point just because if you don't know anything, it's so nice to have a community. And if Aiden just has something that it can be proud of, it's our community. And they are really amazingly helpful for everybody who wants to join and is taking their first steps. On the other hand, there's a place that it's called OpenSea NFT where you can find a ranking and also all information about current transaction volumes and floor prices and stuff like that. And if you want to trade or go to second market, so our 2 seasons are sold out right now, but you can get them on second market. And I would say the GPG store is the most common way to do that.
Very cool. And you've definitely touched a little bit on a lot on and mentioned community several times. And I know that you guys have a DAO, and you mentioned the fact that you guys do have plans for these NFTs to be able to be implemented more and take part in the story. I'd love to hear a little bit more about what exactly being a community-driven project means to you guys, because it definitely seems to be a very important part of what you guys are providing as an NFT experience.
Yeah, so I think it's on one hand it's really the base of everything we do. So at the very beginning we committed to delivering a certain roadmap, and we have also asked always our community members what do they think about our development. To give you an example, when we released the first season, there were some female admins on our Discord asking why there are no more female ninjas, and in the second season we have plenty of female ninjas, and I'm a big fan of them, by the way. So that's just a very simple example. But on the other hand, there's this practical way. It's community driven because our holders actually get to participate in a live Discord event, which are clan wars, and they get to vote on whatever they want to. So we give them a story and we give them a possibility. Imagine they get to decide if somebody dies, what happens with a certain problem, or how the main character is going to interact with the story. Is he going to go this way or another way? And then, depending on what they have decided that day, the manga chapters next week are going to reflect that. So we really make up lots of scenarios, and then the scenario that our community decides on is the one that actually happens. So I mean, it's super exciting. You can really decide on, one week they decided to kill the main character, and I was like, oh my god, he's dead now, and you guys, it's your fault. But it's great because they have the feeling that really we listen to them, and we that's the way we want to grow, right? So our community has been supporting us from the start in an amazing way. On the first mint, we got the wallet address wrong, and it was a disaster. And they really stood by our side and always defended us and defended our credibility and really believed in what we are doing. So we're very committed to, really delivering and making our promises happen and making the whole experience more and more fun. So the fact that we are also doing music, doing games, doing the manga in physical version as well, or that's what we're planning to, and so on, it's all because we're trying to make this experience of being a Ninjas holder and a part of the community an amazing one.
That is excellent. I think this is a project that is obviously delivering a lot on the roadmap, and as for me, looking at the roadmap on the website, I'm like, this is very a cool project to be a part of, but it's also very aspirational. But one of the things that definitely looks like it is a major concept in what you guys are doing is you mentioned clan wars. I'd love to hear a little bit more exactly about what clan wars are, how they're playing out, and how they play into kind of your ecosystem.
Yeah, so it's actually completely insane. We have our own storyteller, which is Ignacio, and he's like the chief officer of this part. So on every Saturday on our Discord, there's a live event for about 45 minutes, and during that event, every clan member can vote. So you get voting rights depending a little bit on which NFTs you hold and so on, but everybody can vote. Even if you do not hold a ninja, you can participate in the clan wars. So once you enter our Discord, you choose a clan because we have three clans: Aramar, Atsuko, and Isuka. Depending your heart tells you, you choose a clan, and then you can participate in the voting for that specific clan on Discord. And as I mentioned before, it is going to in the development of the week. So it's really fun, and especially I think the format of it being live is very exciting. Everybody being connected on Discord and kind of having this magic epic meeting about what's going to happen next in the story. And that's how we do it. There are two types of clan wars: districts and duels, and the other clan wars. So just I would say, if you're curious, just come along, try it out. Next clan wars are this Saturday. It's 5 p.m. UTC, and we're gonna be there.
Amazing stuff. So I'm gonna pull up the roadmap here in a second, and I do want to get your take on like what you guys have next. Congratulations on selling out season 2, by the way. But as far as what is coming next for Out of Ninjas, what's happening with this roadmap?
Yep. So we just sold out season 2, and we're kind of taking a breath, but only for I think 24 hours maybe, and then we're ready to go forward still. So what we have on the roadmap here are a few really amazing things. So there's still a third clan that we have to release more in the future. So we're thinking about quarter 4 of 22. But more immediate, as I mentioned before, we're gonna have to finish the Atsuko Origins manga series. We have 2 chapters left of Aramar Origins, and then we're gonna go to the next one. So our goal is to release 15 manga pages every week, which is crazy. We have amazing artists drawing like crazy to, release that much, and it's all made by hand. We also have here the launch of season 3. As I said, it's quarter 2. I think it's gonna be a little bit later, but that's something we're gonna do. And then obviously we have the Aramatsuke and Daisuke Origin manga series, which we're releasing chapters by chapters, and you can find them on the website. We're gonna have a bonus soundtrack. We already released one song and a video clip, but we're gonna do some more music. And our idea is that our community can participate not only in the lyrics creation, but also maybe in the soundtrack itself. I can't really say too much about details, but it's gonna be definitely, yeah, very exciting. And then we have the Ninjas Burn, as I said, and the DAO, and we also have to deliver some more of the Discord's fun. So there's going to be more of live events. We want to also organize more of Ninja's Got Talent, which is something that we do on our Discord as well. And we want people to, continue having fun. So there's still a lot coming. So we're going to keep writing, keep doing manga. We're going to keep releasing stuff, and we're going to try to make our holders feel like, they're not only having fun when they're minting, but every day just by being part of it and following us on Discord and Twitter mostly.
I love that, and I really appreciate the fact that you guys are so in tune with like your community and you're engaging. I think that's something that a lot of projects have not done very well post their first drop, which is keeping the community super engaged in what you've got going on. And as you can see, like through your roadmap, you've got a lot of ways of doing that, including the clan wars that are happening every week, which sound really really cool to take part in. So we did ask chat if anybody's got questions, make sure that you go ahead and drop them in there. We try to make sure get these answered at the end. Looks like there were some questions, kind of general ones. I think you've answered most of the stuff. But I personally would like to ask, I think, for me, my closing question for you would be, in the notes, I thought this was really interesting. Your team actually listed one of the topics that you'd like to cover as mistakes that you guys have made along the way, and the importance of learning from those. And I'd love for you to kind of maybe share the message that you guys had in mind when you sent that over, because I think it's very important for the community to hear about what it's like to have these kind of these hiccups for a developer, and then to recover from that, and then how you allow that to give you the drive to do better the next time around.
Yeah. So I think, the most obvious mistake we committed was the wrong wallet address that we published on our website for the first drop. And I would say the message that we can take from it and that I can share with you is that no matter how much you actually screwed it and like how stupid the mistake is you made, the most important thing is how you approach it. So the being honest and being transparent and saying, guys, our bad, we made a mistake, but here we are, it's not a fake, and just going live and talking to the community and explaining yourself is so much better than trying to cover it up. So I would say obviously we make mistakes, and just growing fast is a challenge, right? Because in the NFT space, it's crazy. Think about a project starting in October 21, and right now we have 35 people working on the
Yeah.
team, and we're just in February. I mean, it's like in a normal company it would be absolutely impossible, right? But growing a team and in general delegating tasks is always going to lead to some hiccups and to some mistakes, and there's the blockchain congestion, there's all these kind of things that happen, and when Cardano drops and everything collapses and the floor price goes down, and obviously so many things change so fast that there's always these ups and downs, like in life, in NFT projects as well. But the most important thing is to be honest and to talk about it. And if your community asks you a question, you got to give them an answer. And that's what we've been doing from the start. And always when I talk about the wrong wallet address, they tell us, oh, guys, but the way you dealt with it, it made us love you even more. And I'm like, that's amazing, because actually it was really stupid to post the wrong wallet address, but somehow we managed to turn it into an advantage. So I think that's really what is it all about.
The vibes I'm getting from the Cardano communities are like really good. Like Veggiemates, the project that we had on, like everyone kind of came in and was having a great time, and it seemed like the founders of the team had a great connection with the community. And the same thing I'm getting here. I've got, by the way, I've got some people who are arguing in the chat, not arguing, but they're like clan warring in the chat. We have an Aramar and a Atsuko. Sorry, I'm trying to get the names down, but they're like fighting playfully in the chat, which I think is a real cool way to have like community events and community engagement there. But yeah, I mean, like, I don't really have a question for you, Daria. You absolutely did well on this interview and breaking down what you guys have going on. Again, shout out to the team that you mentioned, like a fully pretty much docs team of 35 people. That's very large for an NFT PFP project. So definitely shout out to what you guys are building, and let anybody in the house know where they can find out about you guys, and maybe we'll sneak in one more community question.
Sure. So talking about Veggiemates, we're big fans of them as well. And our artist is going to be drawing during their art night. They have an art night event, which is a drawing live event. And we're actually going to be a guest this Thursday. So if you want to check it out, I'm sure it's going to be fun because they're amazing guys and so cool. I mean, who wouldn't like to have a card as an NFT? So that's brilliant, by the way. But yeah, so from our side, Ada Ninjas, you can find us on all kinds of social media, mostly on Twitter, Discord, and Instagram. We have a website, and we have released a white paper, which is a super comprehensive sort of information about everything you might want to know about us. And if you have any questions, as I said, we have a super welcoming and a super active community. So just head to Twitter or Discord, whichever is better for you, and have a conversation with us. We're always happy to talk, and you don't have to buy a ninja, but just come and chill with us a little bit.
I
Awesome.
love that. And I think the only question that we did have pop up that I want to make sure we do get a second to ask, because it did pop up, was as far as Ada Ninjas is concerned, do you guys have any plans for partnerships or collabs, maybe outside of just that Veggiemates one that you mentioned?
Yes, and there are so many collaborations coming up right now. So we have some amazing projects in the queue. We're going to be releasing some one-to-one NFTs with very cool projects, and we're also going to have some special art made by new projects. We want to invite other artists to draw some manga in their own style, which I think it's a great idea because in manga you have the separators, so we have actually some extra space which we want to use to showcase other artists as well. And there's one more thing which is really cool. We're partnering with NFT Link, and we're gonna have some physical manga books with this NFT link code, which you can scan, and it's actually gonna direct you to your wallet. So that's a short summary of what's coming.
That's amazing, Daria. Thank you so much for popping on today, guys. Stay tuned to NFT Live at NFT Live on Twitter for a giveaway for an Ada Ninja here NFT that we are going to be giving away. You're going to have to do some actions there, but hopefully you get lucky and you get access to one of these NFTs. So Daria, head of marketing again at Ada Ninjas. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much, guys. It was a pleasure. See you around.
Bam.
That's a cool project.
That that was great. Hey, we made it all the way through without any well, technically we had the initial audio problem,
Once
but
she reconnected, it was fine.
yes, very true, very true. Yeah. Great project, man. I get great vibes like again. And there's some comments in the chat. Everybody knows that I've had my problems with Cardano in the past and in Hoskinson. I love the projects on Cardano and the vibes of both of
Yeah.
the projects that we've had on. It's a small sample size, but I get really good vibes from both of the projects there.
Absolutely. I love the community. Thank you guys so much for jumping in and joining us and taking part in this interview and hanging out and chat. We appreciate that. It gives us lots of energy to get through the episode and have this conversation and make sure that we're talking about things that are relevant to you guys and that you guys care about. So we do appreciate that. I'd love when communities drop in and interact, man, and kind of hang out for what we have for the rest of the show, but as far as like Ada Ninjas, really cool project. The fact that they've actually got these episodes of the manga, and that they eventually would like to get to a point of dropping 13 pages of manga every single week. I mean, that's
Yeah.
shoot, high school Ronin would be so excited about the thought of getting, like, you know what I mean, like continuous like manga for like that period of time and like that quickly. So yeah, they're trying to do some really cool things. I think that they obviously have done really well, and the community appreciates that. And I think, look,
Yeah.
we're gonna keep up with it and figure out what happens with these smoke bombs,
It's
man.
yeah, I need to have some questions about smoke bombs. I asked Daria about following like Cardano NFTs, right? And can you track Cardano NFTs on OpenSea? Is that what she was saying?
She said that you can go to OpenSea NFT,
Okay.
which I don't know if that's like maybe like another site that's like more so for like all NFTs in the space. Maybe it like allows
Okay.
you to like view different ones. But if somebody in chat knows exactly what that page or the
Yeah, we'll
website
bring it up.
was to track those, that'd be excellent. We'd love to pull it up at some point.
Yeah, yeah. Speaking of pulling up here, I've got Aramar, Atsuko, and Daisuke. Which one are you choosing here? Which one would you
Oh
choose?
man, Daisuke. I want to see this like new one. That one, like the mask looks so sick.
Yeah, yeah. I wonder
Yeah,
what
I might have to jump in on season 3.
I can't even really choose without like knowing the lore behind the project. So
Yeah,
I'll
there's
hold
lore there,
off.
dude.
Yeah, I'll hold off.
There's lore.
Okay. All right. Well, that was a great interview. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed it. Shout out to all the ninjas in the house, by the way. Thank you for joining LADZ City here in NFT Live as we break down the NFT news. We have about 20 minutes to get to the news, which is awesome. You know, a lot of times we end our interviews and there's like 10 minutes to go through fucking 20 things. So we actually have some time here. We are going to start off with probably the most just heated piece of news that I've ever seen. Ronan, you brought it to my attention this morning. This is really, really important that everybody knows. I think yeah, we'll just play the trailer.
I'm a motherfucking bad bitch. Go on, make me a sandwich. You annoying.
Okay, without any context, you have no idea what that is. Ronan
I
showed
was
me
like,
that.
we probably should have warm introed that clip instead of just cutting to it.
What is
So
the
if you
story
guys,
behind this?
yeah, dude, I like to go like deep when I get into stories on Twitter, and this one is essentially that beautiful specimen of human nature was one half of the couple who apparently was responsible for the Bitfinex hack in 2016, and they, her and her husband were arrested uh, on on Monday. Sorry about that, Prodigy. And look, this is just one of those things like we got to make sure you guys are up to date. And these are the type of people that are coming in crypto, messing around and playing. And some of them are behind NFTs these days. So when you have a Twitter profile that links back to a founder who does this,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, think about it. I'm
Yeah.
just saying.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Speaking of like finding out about people, we can just go right into our next piece. So again, for the hard intro there, I just, we had to do it. We had to keep you guys on your toes a little bit here. But into like probably like a more relevant NFT story is that the Bored Ape Yacht Club founders got, or at least part of the Bored Ape Yacht Club founders were doxxed by some journalists, quote unquote, from BuzzFeed. And just the idea that, look, some people want to remain anonymous in this industry, and should they kind of have the right to be anonymous? And what do we think about, the BuzzFeed kind of coming out and actually doxing these people? So now people who are, at the helm of a multi-million-dollar project where anonymity is important, we're moving to, certain countries, is important, and all these different things. Do we think that this is, a bad thing for BuzzFeed to do? And does that put the Bored Ape Yacht Club founders in danger, and all these different things? It's just an interesting story, I think, to kind of highlight as we kind of make our way into more adoption of NFTs and not maybe having as many anonymous people in the space.
Yeah, I think this is one of those things where it's like, it's, could you? Sure. Should you? I don't know. Like for me, I like to respect people's wishes as like, human beings. And these guys didn't really want to put out themselves out there publicly. From what I understand, it still was a little unclear how exactly they connected. I mean, they say they basically just used a bunch of public, documents that were available and pieced together the dots to figure out who these guys were. But I just think that like, why? Like outside of like, let's write something that's going to get a whole bunch of attention and clicks. Like what just, do you feel better now that you outed these guys and you showed them? And that, BuzzFeed's argument is that if you are going to be at the helm of, what some are saying is $1 billion company, like the Bored Ape Yacht Club, should you be allowed to conduct business anonymously? And I think there's some arguments for both sides, right? Like in this way, the BAYC is incorporated. They do have, a business license. They are, they're doing everything above board. They're just not coming out there and saying like, hey, we're the guys behind this thing. And there's a lot of reasons why
Yeah,
somebody may not want that. I mean, dude, nobody knows me. I'm not nobody from nobody, but me walking around New York City, like where and people who like recognize my face was really a weird situation. Cause it's like from one place to the next, people are calling you out and they're tapping you on your shoulder.
yeah,
And that, to be on the BAYC level, I can't imagine. Like these dudes may have to consider, like legitimately may have to consider like a personal bodyguard at some
for sure.
point. You know what I mean? Like this thing is getting really, really big and they're worth a lot of money. Like,
Th-
people talk about how secure crypto is, but how, what they call, what is it? The crowbar like approach was essentially like, if I physically put you up against a wall and like put a gun to your head or a crowbar to your face, like, and tell you to open up your phone and unlock it so now I can access your wallet, like,
yeah.
what are you going to do about it, right?
Mhm.
Like, and so like somebody could target these guys. They've probably got a lot of money in their wallet. Is their
Yeah.
wallet connected to their phone? I'm sure somebody's willing to find out if there's millions of dollars in there.
Some of these problems go for like all individuals, right? Like if you're a celebrity
Absolutely.
in not even in the NFT industry, if you're a celebrity in general, someone can do the same thing to you. It is funny to me that the NFT space has a little bit of irony when it comes to calling the security of individuals out when we're walking around showcasing that we own a bored ape by the stuff that we have. Like me and you don't have any bodyguards yet. We're walking around, NYC at night sometimes with the fact that, hey, I own a bored ape. So there is a little bit of that where someone's calling out the security of now the founders that are doxxed, and yet they don't take themselves seriously when it comes to that security piece, because that's certainly another part of it. The other thing is, like, again, this isn't totally anonymous. Pseudonymous means a lot of different things, but these founders probably had doxed themselves to multiple individuals already. They're having different production, or different partnership meetings and things like this. So it's not a complete anonymous person going to be, now completely doxxed. And then the last thing I'll probably say about this is shout out to Florida, who has now produced a lot of PFP projects. I mean, you're talking about Gutter Cat Gang. That's Gutter Dan's down in Florida. You got now these guys straight from Florida as well. Florida's pumping out the PFP founders, man.
There's a secret PFP cabal straight up out of Florida, and you just uncovered it.
There it is. See, we're doing the investigation here on NFT Live. This is what you're getting on NFT Live. But we'll move on to the next pieces that Ronan is going to cover here. We're going to hit a little bit of NFL all day. So take this one away, Ronan, and we will make it into the rest of the episode.
Yeah. So NFL All Day. NFL All Day, obviously, this is a huge project for the NFT space because it involves such a massive global brand such as the NFL. And look, they've done a lot over the past couple of weeks. They had the 49ers drop a couple of weeks ago. What you guys are looking at here, I think, is the 49ers. They just dropped earlier today, or actually, a couple hours ago. They dropped the Giants drop. They also did the NFL. The conference champions, which kind of was to celebrate the two teams that are now headed to the Super Bowl. I think like it's very interesting to see how they are approaching this so much differently than they did with the NBA Top Shot franchise, right? Like NFL All Day seems to be a bit more all encompassing. Whereas they've got the all day, NFLallday.com, which is the Dapper led product that's strictly moments. Then you've got these NFL all day shops that are essentially each of the NFL teams having their own NFT experience. And at the surface level, these are essentially digital collectibles straight up, but I do think that over time, hopefully the teams realize, that the utility that can be played into these things and how that can enact the secondary market could be very valuable. So, some really cool NFTs out there by the NFL and dropping from Dapper. And I think this is another way that we see mass adoption continue to take place. Shout out to Wells Fargo for putting it out there that they think we're going to see hyper adoption of crypto and in all its forms, over the next year or two. And I firmly agree. And we're going to continue to see massive brands like the NFL, like NBA, like UFC, which also dropped recently, coming to the space and kind of approaching it in their own ways. And this is super interesting to me because it's such a different approach from what they did with Top Shot, right? It's just not like it. You've got like the Top Shot proper, and then you got like these shops, and they all kind of live for the team specifically versus like this bigger brand that is all encompassing of every team and every player.
Yeah, it's very clear that teams are experimenting right now. At least I don't know if there how again the coordination between the Bengals and the NFL in launching a Bengals NFT. I think is a cool concept, but I also think it's a cool conversation to have with the individuals like a Des Bryant or a Von Miller, or all these NFT centric or thoughtful, kind of creators when it comes to sports NFTs, and that relationship between the NFL and teams getting in and what they want to do as individual athletes. That's the piece where I'm like, and it might be just my devil's advocate approach where I'm always looking at the other side of it. But is this bad for individuals like Des Bryant or other people who want to help the specific individual athlete and not maybe the NFL team that's already raking in billions?
Yeah, I think that that's just going to depend on like the team. It's going to depend on like the contract, or maybe even just the league in general, right? Like I know, like Major League. I believe there's one entity that owns the rights to like all the names and likenesses. So like you probably couldn't do a deal directly with like a player. Now, don't quote me on that. I don't know that for a fact, but last time I remember talking to somebody about it, they said something along those lines. So, does this, of does this keep players themselves from being able to go out and do things? I don't think so, as long as it doesn't like interfere with their normal contract. And if it does, then what's cool about this is now we can educate, right? Like we can hope that there are more athletes and more creators that are getting educated about the space, and now like the next time they sign a contract, they make sure that they have the rights to do something like produce their own NFTs, or include a social token in their own environment if that's how they choose to monetize their name and their likeness.
Yeah, and I want to pull up one thing really quick here, and I'm going to pull myself full screen, even though I should probably bring up the Gig Labs team member. If you guys didn't know, we've got NFL all day. We just showed everything when it comes to kind of the front end, but the back end is done by NFT Bridge, and guess who built NFT Bridge? Well, it's Gig Labs, and it's Ronan the Collector's team there that is a part of this. So you can give yourself a pat on the back there. Good partnership.
Thanks,
there
man.
with the little
Yeah.
NFL. Just a small little itty bitty entity called the
Yeah.
NFL.
I appreciate that, man. We're doing a lot of work. I think that for me, the biggest thing for everybody who knows, like I kind of am involved in strategy and stuff when it comes to some of our partners. Not involved in the NFL side of the things. Basically that Dapper just kind of uses our platform to stand these things up, which I'm really proud to say is a really robust and powerful platform. I mean, we were able to mint something like 300,000 NFTs in a matter of like 20 minutes yesterday, which is like it's insane when you consider how many NFTs you're producing. And we did that at a cost that is mind-blowingly low.
Mm.
Like 300,000 NFTs minted on the Flow blockchain, and it cost 1/1000th of minting a single NFT on Ethereum. So
Yeah.
it's we're gonna see some interesting stuff as these blockchains, these alternatives kind of start to grow and get a little more adoption. And you look at Dapper and what they're building, and the fact that they also are doing anything super compliant, right? It creates a little bit of an easier onboarding experience. So super proud of what we built with NFT Bridge, and how it's being utilized for NFL and UFC and some other really, really cool projects.
Absolutely, and shout out to Flow. Shout out to my Flow bags as well. Please pump those continuously. I think Flow's a little bit underrated when it comes to kind of, and undervalued when it comes to the token. I think what they're doing, especially in the NFT space, is they're going to be the winner at the end of the day. They're going to be the biggest winner from NFT adoption long term, in my opinion, when it comes to a layer one blockchain. So yeah, shout out to Flow there. I'm going to go into the next two stories. These are two fairly large stories that we kind of want your guys' opinion on. We're going to touch on Brantley and ENS here, but we all are also going to touch on Pixelmon, which, if you didn't know anything about this story, the TLDR here is that this team is building a game on the sandbox. So there's a bunch of utility different features. There's some mints, and they ended up going with, I believe, going with a Dutch auction that landed at like 3 ETH, if I'm not mistaken, and they raised $70 million. This is again, and I'm gonna bring a trailer up here of Pixelmon. I'm gonna make sure that I don't overshadow myself here, but you can see this trailer as I go through it. This is all we have when it comes to this game. It's gonna be, again, I believe, on Sandbox. It's gonna be pixelated, as you can see, but $70 million was raised by this team in a sellout of their assets. So, there's a lot of conversation to be had, including what the floor price is now, which is not good. But the big story here, again, that this project, which is essentially building not their own kind of like platform or anything like that, they're building a sandbox game, raised 70 mil. What do we think, Ronan? Oh, you're muted. Oh, there you go.
So I'm just thinking, what do I think? I think there's a whole lot of money. And it's interesting because look, the project is being built on somebody else's platform. So what does that 70 mil cover in terms of development? I mean, look, this is definitely one of the prettier like sandbox experiences that I have seen. And we know, having Sebastian on just a couple weeks ago, that they are doing a lot of really cool stuff. But I am continuously surprised at how much the community gets sucked into chasing the bag. And in that in this situation, you're buying something at 3 ETH, and to talk about what the floor is now, I feel scared to even ask. But it's why, like, I could never touch projects like, Clonex or what was the other one, the mechas and things like that, because like 3 ETH right off the rip, and there's not anything to actually show for it at the moment. What else would you expect to happen?
So DP's in the house saying Pixelmon buyers got wrecked. I believe the floor is at about 1 ETH now. So it's around, actually, that's probably what mechas were going for on release, right? It was like 3 ETH, right? Like 3 or 4 ETH,
dude.
I know they got like 9 ETH on reveal and things like, or pre-reveal. That someone made a great comment on Twitter saying that was like the four horsemen of the apocalypse are Pixelmon now, hate and mechas, and then there was like one more project. But there's definitely
Super Yetis.
No, not Super Yetis doesn't deserve that hate. They're up from floor or up from mint price, sir. But yeah, I mean, there's definitely these projects that people are chasing the bag irrationally, and you wonder how it gets to this point. They had like a closed Discord, and it generated like all the bad types of hype that you don't want to get involved in, that we already have seen, like you said, in a project like Mechas. So yeah, I'll take you through a little bit more, but you can kind of see this again. There's some utility pieces. There's like an early access to an alpha. There also is early access to, or at least access to, a pre-sale. So there is going to be a Pixelmon token that is going to be available here. So you can see how some of this FOMO was being driven, but it really is. And I'll look at the chat one more time here and take some comments. But it's kind of sad to see a project this small and seemingly with like not much to show for it when you start to raise that amount of money. It's sad to see that amount of funds go to a project like this. And I'm not hating on the team or anything like that. It's just in general, when there's other, grassroots projects that would love even $1 million, but people are chasing the bag, and I get it. It's tough to see when you have people who are growing the space in the right way, and they can't even get 500K on their sale.
Yeah, and it's sad, and look, they do have a cool idea. They've got this utility. They've got this. It's obviously going for the Pokemon vibe, which I think is going to be hugely popular for the first project that gets it right and actually gives us a freaking gaming experience that's close to Pokemon and allows us to do everything like evolve and breed and all that stuff. When that project really hits, that it's going to be huge. But the problem is that everybody's kind of like working towards it, with the exception of maybe like Axie, right? But like we're not there. And I would really appreciate some of these projects coming, building their community, building the product, and then selling me on that product and actually delivering something that we could jump into. And shout out to chat. Alluvium is definitely another one because I'm super hyped for Alluvium and I'm looking forward to that one for sure. So yeah,
Yeah.
dude, I
No, 100%. 100%. I think you hit the nail on the head. So there's going to be projects that maybe don't deserve 70 mil, but they deserve a little bit more than what this maybe project got. But I want to stay a little bit away from kind of bashing a project. We did have one last conversation, but Ronan does have to get up out of here relatively shortly. Uh, I don't know how we don't. Maybe we just remove it from the title if we're not going to hit on it. But it was a big story. ENS Domains and the company behind ENS Domains actually let go of a influencer or person, brantley.eth. Brantley Milligan, I believe, is his full name. They actually let go of this guy because he posted a tweet, I believe, 4 or 5 years ago, and it's kind of part of a larger conversation about cancel culture in this space now. In a space that traditionally was not made for the types of environments that you see maybe in day-to-day culture, is now making its way into Web3. So I want to get your last take, Ronan, before you leave, and then we'll kind of leave it there. But and I'll kind of talk about it right after you leave here. But definitely want to get your take on Brantley being essentially fired or let go from the team behind ENS Domains.
Yeah, everybody's got their own opinion on this situation. I think everybody has a right to that. For me personally, I think it was interesting because I'm not sure if it was the original tweet that really was what got him where he ended. I think it was more so the doubling down and basically saying like, I am like what I am, and like you guys can go screw yourselves. And then look, it's interesting because Web3 is supposed to be what it is, right? Decentralization, and we're not supposed to really like adhere to that. But on the flip side of things, it's like the community kind of spoke. And if you look at like his delegations for ENS, like they tanked. I mean, he was like a hand above fist
Yeah.
leading in delegations over anyone else in the ENS ecosystem. And in a matter of 48 hours, the community spoke pretty loudly by removing the delegations to the tune of like 200,000 or something like that. So it's like, okay, well, this is an example of Web3 working and Web3 not working in a really interesting way. So I think the conversation is definitely one that deserves a much longer discussion, and probably one that is a little bit larger than just you and I, and probably includes a lot of different voices and a lot of people from different viewpoints on it. That way we could have like a super educational like conversation about it. I think that would be super valuable to the community for somebody to kind of take charge and have that type of convo. We definitely wanted to make sure we brought it up and share that because it's part of the news and it's something that's really big and it took place this week, and we want to make sure you guys are aware of it. And then maybe to like put the question to you guys, like what would you do and how do you feel about the situation, and sound off in chat, and you can drop it in comments if you're watching this later. But I think that like everyone's voice deserves to be heard when it comes to this type of situation.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head there. I think we were talking about doing some more spaces as well from the NFT Live Twitter. That might be a great conversation. Maybe it's not a great conversation to have on spaces because you're right. It was the reaction that he had. So essentially, Brantley went into a spaces and doubled down on some of the comments that he made, which pretty much ran the gamut. I mean, he checked all the boxes of essentially bigotry, and also kind of talked about that being related to his religion. There's a lot of minefield conversations there that I don't want to get into. I do essentially believe that cancel culture is not a good thing for society, and we're kind of building something outside of what the kind of higher ups have, decided that that's going to be our culture these days. And it sucks to see cancel culture make its way so quickly and so like insidiously into our spaces. Not even just talking about this Brantley situation, but there's been multiple, where people are just trying to get other people, fired from what they're doing or removed from their position. And that's just not the vibe of what I think cypherpunk values are about, So there's a lot to break down. I know, we do have to run. I think it might be a conversation for maybe next NFT Lives episode, and maybe we can get into it there. I wish we had some time to kind of talk about it with you guys, because it is important, man. It's an important conversation to have, and I don't think it can be swept under the rug, especially in a space where I think open values and open conversation is what we strive to do. So it is what it is. But guys, that was NFT Live for today. I think we do want to take some of those comments off air as well, and maybe we can hit on it next time, or we'll hit it on in our Discord as well. But I appreciate you guys commenting along the entire time. I'm gonna give a quick shout out to DP, to Digits, to Prodigy, to Coca Jenkins, Xplows in the house. Let's see. Dario was here the entire time as well. Aaron, Charles, Crazy, all the ninjas that were in the house. Appreciate you very much. And Ronan, I'll let you take us out here. But guys, thank you so much for tuning in to NFT Live.
Yeah, we appreciate all you hanging out and being super active in chat. We really enjoyed the company today. Make sure you check out the show again next week. Make sure you check out all the shows on LADZ City Network. We've got something coming your way every day live, Monday through Saturday. That's our vibe, our tribe.